And hello everyone, welcome to the Sept of Shadows by Firelight. Tonight we will go through a couple of news, a few discussion topics, not a lot, just some media I have been going through recently. It's usually popular topics, so I thought I would start with some of that. And then we'll jump right back with Alan Wake Remastered, which I realize hasn't been booted yet. Let's do that. So in news, I have been working for the past several months but on a bunch of lore videos for Werewolf the Apocalypse. There are going to be 11 episodes for season 1 of what I'm calling A Right to Remember. The interesting thing is the way I'm doing them is it's actually an ongoing story. So it's not necessarily like me just talking about a topic. There is actually an ongoing narrative, and through that narrative there's a context that allows the character who's telling the story to explain pretty much everything. So those were pretty interesting to write, although it was a lot of work. And right now I'm pretty happy to announce that I'm halfway through. Like, all the writing is done, as some of you know, and all of the voices are done. The halfway part that I'm referring to is specifically the editing. So, as right now, 6 of these episodes are fully rendered and good to go. So, I'm hoping I will do the other 5 episodes this week, which means, if all goes well, next week should be the release of the first episode. I'll confirm that next Monday. I'm thinking probably something that I'll do is I'm probably going to release them like at midnight on Mondays or something like that. So Mondays kind of stays the day my stuff comes out or something like that. I'm not quite sure. I might space it out as well so that folks, just don't spend their entire Mondays just with me. Like, you can enjoy other things when the stream's over, and maybe on Wednesdays. I don't know. I'll figure out the release schedule soon. But it's coming up, if not next week, the week after that, unless Apocalypse happens. Let me catch up. No werewolf news. In other news, indeed, I have given a loose date to my players on when I will be running anima. Oh shit! Running anima. That is cool. Do please let me know how that plays out. I'm really looking forward to see how folks play anima and how it happens. I'm actually pretty happy about what I've seen so far, because you'd think that when it's your baby you would be protective of it, but I haven't been like at all. I'm just like impressed and intrigued whenever someone does something I didn't see coming, like completely differently. Like, for example, in the Let's Play of Travis Legg on the Onyx Path channel, there's this 4-part, I think, Let's Play of it, and like in my vision, and I don't think anyone working on the game had that vision either, but none of the narrator AIs ever actually took shape. They're not quote-unquote sentient per se. And Mary, one of the AI narrators, literally just manifests like as an NPC, as herself in one of his games. And I just never in a million years imagined that happening. And I was freaking fascinating watching the Let's Play, because even though I made the damn game, I don't know what's going to happen next. I have no idea. I was like, oh, okay, this can happen. Interesting. And I really wanted to know what was going to happen next. I really have to find some time to keep watching, but that was bleeding fascinating. So seriously, when you do run it, let me know like what your players thought. Let me know like what you think you did that was unique or different. It's fascinating to me to see how people take this game and make it their own. So yeah. Get it done well before... Yeah, definitely well before W5, I think. Like... I have no idea when that's going to be. Seriously, I have no idea. There's been some conversation online between myself and a couple of content creators like Vadi Hanschlan, Emilyn from the Werewolf Den, Lore of the Apocalypse. Sorry, my brain's on the fritz. Lore of the Apocalypse, Primogen, and Hadi Van Schlein, if I didn't mention her. Like, we're thinking about potentially doing a stream of W5. It's completely in the air right now. It's like really just theoretical stuff. There was a conversation going where Lore by Night was saying, like, there was this meme thing, like, do this if you'd like this, or do this if you like this, and one of the options, I think it was quote tweet, do this if you would like to cooperate with me, or something like that. It was just, you know, for the hell of it. And I said, well, yeah, I would absolutely love to cooperate with you. I'd love to do this dream stream thing with you and all of these people doing W5. And pretty much everyone said they would be interested, but there would need to be, you know, some adjustments to W5 in terms of, you know, representation and that kind of thing. So it's most likely going to happen, but the conversation just kind of stalled because, like, none of us has any idea when W5 is going to be. Even though, you know, Hadi Van Schlan literally works for White Wolf right now, there was no comment done in terms of delay, and that may well be because she's not allowed to say, which completely is legit, but it was kind of like, yay, we're doing it! And then crickets. So, yeah. We'll see how that points out. There was a point, though, where Justin eventually came up when Lore by Night mentioned something like he was hoping that the Metis thing... No, not the Metis. The law in the litany about Garu shall not make with Garu, like hoping there's going to be something done with that, and Justin came back in that conversation and literally just said no metas. Just straight up, no metas. That's not a thing. So, kind of confirms what's been said before, but it also still kind of open for interpretation. But yeah. Point is, we don't know. W5, one day, maybe. And when it does, there may be a pretty damn cool stream coming up featuring myself and a bunch of cool folks from the World of Darkness content creation community. So that's one thing to look forward to. Oh my god, play Mary like Janet from The Good Place. That's cool. Janet from The Good Place may just be one of my favorite characters ever. She's amazeballs. This looks loud, like I keep reaching the red zone. Let me just drop the volume a little bit. Not a girl. Yeah. Hey Void, happy to see you there. But yeah, do let me know. And yes, absolutely, V5, I was going to poke you back about that pretty soon. Like, as soon as I'm done with editing and episode 1 is out there, I'm gonna take a quick break to think about season 2, and during that break, for, I don't know, maybe 1 to 3 months, if you're up to it, I thought it would be interesting to have that game, like you, me, Shoban if she's into it, and maybe someone else will figure things out over there. But yeah, the V5 game I think is coming up soon if you're still interested. Or at the very least, I'll be available for it soon. We'll see if you're available. Alright, so that's that. Videos coming soon. Other than that, in recent media, I have been going through... I finished Psychonauts 2. Not much more to say, except it keeps being awesome. The end was super cool as well. Lots of interesting twists. I liked it. If you like the original, it's a no-brainer. Play it as well. Other than that, I've started the second Supraland game. Supraland is a game I've mentioned before, which is just mind-blowing. It's a cross between like Zelda and Portal, I guess. It's these kinds of puzzles, but you've also got, you know, some combat and some dungeon-like areas. It's pretty cool. I really loved Superland, the original, and the second one just came out. It's called 6 Inches Under. And it's just as much of a blast, I would say, as the original. It feels better balanced. There were some puzzle difficulty spikes, I would say, in the original that I'm not feeling right now in the sequel. I'm about halfway through, and so far it has not been easy, but I have continuously made progress. I haven't, jammed on a single puzzle much longer than, say, half an hour, and usually there's so much to do at the same time that you just flow naturally from one puzzle to another, and as you figure a new mechanic, you just, oh yeah, there was this thing, and you just go back, and it just flows well. So it's, so far, I'm extremely satisfied. I've lowered my job wanting quite a bit, so we'll probably have a job within a month, and we'll be able to do something, although we might find some problems in that I'm looking for night jobs. Yeah, that could be a thing. We'll get a dialogue going. We'll figure things out. No stress. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. That's how it is. We'll see how it goes. Let me know, and I'll do the same. The other thing is, and I'd be curious if anyone in the chat has seen that movie. Yesterday, I took a risk on a movie that I thought would be completely abysmal. It's called Underwater, and the reviews just trashed it. But I enjoyed it. Like, quite a bit, actually. I was not going to say riveted, because that's not quite the right word, but it felt tense, like few movies are. And I think some of that is probably the deep sea setting. So it's essentially Aliens, but underwater. Like not Aliens, Alien the original. Like it's not action octane, it's not like combat and guns all the time. There's like these few survivors trying to survive. They're, at sea bottom in the Mariana Trench, digging way further than they should, that kind of situation. It's really cliched in terms of storyline. They're not breaching new grounds at all there, but I felt like they were way too deep for the whole damn movie. I felt the pressure, I felt the claustrophobia, I felt just the danger of being that far below from start to finish. And it feels like in a movie like that, for me, that's what they needed to nail. Everything else was secondary, and they did nail that. So I had fun. So I'm just curious, because everyone seems to say that it's a horrible movie, and I'm just like, no, it's not good, but I had a blast. So yeah, no, I have not seen Matrix Resurrection. I don't know if I mentioned it on stream, but everything is closed here in my region of the world, and it has been for a couple of weeks since the year started, essentially, a little earlier than that. So I have not yet seen the new Spider-Man. I have not yet seen the new Matrix. I think something else. Yeah, the new Scream. I haven't seen it yet, so correct. I do not have HBO. Yeah. And I'm not even sure I have access to HBO, if memory serves. There's one of them, one of the big ones we just can't have here. Like, it's ridiculous. You can technically have it through Crave, but I think it only works in certain regions that Crave can give it to us, and we're not there, so I can't have access to HBO. I might be mixing it with another one, but I think it's HBO. That's the one. Okay, perfect. Jen confirms. It's stupid. Like, it means I have to wait very long for those movies, like the new Godzilla from last year, for example, until they're affordable on Prime or something like that. I have to actually buy the goddamn movie if I want to watch it. It's stupid and ridiculous. But yeah, it takes forever. Like, literally, I saw, what was it, October or November that I saw the Godzilla one? couldn't really afford it before that, but there was no reason for me to pay $30 for like something I'm gonna watch in my living room. Like, I don't like the notion of premium movies. Essentially, like, I'm paying for the streaming service. I'm paying for Netflix. I'm paying for this. Like, if you put something on your streaming service, let me watch it. Why would you, in addition to that, charge me $30? I get there are probably reasons or whatever. I'm just like, it feels like it's a big ask, and I'd rather not do that unless I'm desperate to watch the movie, like, right the heck now. But anyway, we can't, so I assume you have, just to answer Void, I assume you have some VPN or something like that makes it believe you're elsewhere, and I don't, so, and I don't want to mess with that. I don't care enough to spend time with these things. I used to have one that cost, I think it was like another $10 a month just to have like the whole of Netflix from the States and stuff like that. It was cool. It worked for like 4 months, and then suddenly Netflix stopped taking it into account or something, so just really just straight up HBO, like not going through another service, because it's not supposed to be possible in Quebec. Happy to be wrong though, like super goddamn happy to be wrong, but I'm gonna have to figure that one out, I guess. Still, it wouldn't really help with Spider-Man. It wouldn't help with a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I think it would at least help with Matrix. That would be interesting. But still, it would mean like a fourth streaming service. We've already got Netflix Prime and Disney Plus. I really don't want a fourth one. Seriously, it's just like, it's too much. Definitely agreed on that one. And Encanto is enchanting. Literally, pun intended, Encanto is enchanting. I had a lot of fun watching that. It's the best animated movie in a very long time. I want to say best animated movie since like WALL-E or something like that. It was good. Okie dokie. Yes. Okay, not controller. This one I'm doing on the keyboard. Yeah, some Pixar stuff is definitely better. Like, for example, the aforementioned WALL-E. It's just, it feels to me like, since I want to say Inside Out and even a couple of those in between WALL-E and that weren't that good. Like, Toy Story 3 seems overrated to me. People rave about it, and I'm just like, eh. I think it's called Brave. The one with the redhead was like, it was okay, but fine, I guess. On the Disney side, there's the Frozen. I'm just like, I like the lizard in the sequel because it licks its own eye, and I that always cracks me up. But beyond that, I was like, I don't know. Animation has not been strong, I guess, for my own personal tastes for a long time. Yeah, Good Dinosaur. What the heck was that? Like, everything was lined up for me to adore that movie, and it just like so didn't. Like, literally, Jen and I were in Florida when that movie came out. It was like the last time, no, not the last time, but it was, I think, whenever it came out. Just check out the date, I guess. That was not the last trip we did, but the one before that, because we can't exactly afford to go on vacation super often. But that was one of the times when we actually decided to go on vacation. We were in Florida. We were at Universal Studios, and that movie came out, and it was like, oh my god, it's going to be so good. Obviously, it's going to be so good. And even though we could have been like on some crazy ride somewhere at Universal, we went to see the goddamn movie and came out of there and was like, really? Like, we wasted 2 hours of our vacation on that? We're never going to get that money and time back. We're never going to get that vacation time back. What the hell? Probably. Nothing comes to mind though right now. I'm sure it's true. I'm just blanking on. I remember the Witcher one they did. It was okay. Not particularly good, but definitely not bad. Maybe I just haven't been paying attention to their animated stuff. That's definite possibility. Anyway, so for our needs, we'll be going back into... Oh yeah, no, Arcane. Arcane was amazing. Right, okay, yeah, okay, Brain is coming back online for sure. I don't know Inside Job. Oh wait, no, I do. Wait, is that the one we saw, Jen? The Inside Job, the one where it's like essentially running the technocracy, sort of. Oh man, that was good. Yeah, that was very good. Arcane is amazing, possibly the best animated show that's been done in the past 10 years or so. Definitely top 3 best animated show for sure. Arcane is just wow. She-Ra was indeed very good, and Kipo was... No, you're right. You're absolutely... You're right. I was just... My brain was off. They're on point. They're crazy on point. She-Ra was amazeballs. Even the other one in the same universe as She-Ra was okay. We just saw part 1 though. We didn't see the second part. He-Man. It was not, it wasn't as good. It wasn't on par, but we had a good time. Which one's Riley? I can't figure out which one's Riley. Yeah, Inside Job. I'm looking forward to that season 2. Completely forgot that was a thing until you mentioned it. Yeah, I removed my comments. Don't know where my brain was at. Oh yeah, but I do remember we had a flashlight here, and that's something we want. Grab that. Okay, so recap time. Last time on Alan Wake, I guess, and I will do it instead of running videos because we're mid-chapter, so there's going to be a lot of stuff to say that just isn't covered. But long story short, we came to a town, I believe it's called Bright Falls. We have a writer's block, and this is supposed to be just like this vacation thing. And our wife and our agent... I think the wife is called Alice, the agent's called Barry. They just kind of set this up so that, without Alan knowing, so that Alan writes again, essentially. Like, here's this cabin on this island, here's a typewriter, go do your thing, let the place inspire you. And Alan was angry about that because he didn't expect it and didn't want that for his vacation. So while he started off angry, something happened. And our wife fell into the water, and we came in after her. And then, time skip, we're 1 week later. We don't remember anything in between. There are now these weird shadow monsters trying to kill us. It's just super weird. There appears to be this entity called the Darkness that seems to be able to possess objects and people. It seems to be after us, and it's genuinely scary. Like, I'm not scared playing the game because video games have stopped scaring me for a long time, but the entity itself, you can feel that it's a thing. It's not a person, it's a thing. It is sentient, it has thoughts, but it's not like gonna talk to you directly. It's going to, like, manifest its anger in weird ways, such as literally the bridge we just crossed, like these weird objects that just like started moving and then crashing in our direction. It's angry, and stuff just lashes out as a result. We could see for a bit that while it's toying with us, it's not actively super trying to kill us, whereas when it decided to go all out against the FBI agents who were shooting at us and trying to stop us, it tore off trees. It just blew off cars. It was just almost apocalyptic on this super small region, trying to just rip to shreds any FBI agents coming after us. And all of that seems to be because it appears to need us to finish writing a manuscript that we apparently were working on for this week that we lost. The other thing is there were some kidnappers who reached out early on, and they said they have our wife. Turns out they don't. They're just trying to blackmail us slash ransom us into giving them this manuscript that they believed was completed, but it isn't. Or at the very least, Alan doesn't know where it is. And so the next day, we were given about 48 hours to finish writing the script. And we lost most of that time because the next day we went to see a lady from the diner who drugged us. So we slept most of that day. And for some reason, now we're 48 hours later, despite the fact that we slept a single day. I don't get the time lapse thing, but that's what they're going with. And she was broken. Like when we woke up, it's like her purpose had been fulfilled and she was now just kind of like broken, going through the same script while she was almost in a fetal position in her living room. She was just broken. And that's interesting because it teaches us a couple of things about what the darkness can and cannot do. Because usually when the darkness possesses someone, it's like these enemies we've been killing. They're sort of covered in shadows. It's super obvious. And they're mad. Like they keep saying these creepy things that make little sense. And when, you shoot them, they just like break off in bursts of light and stop existing, I guess. But Rose is the name of the lady from the diner. She was just broken. So it's a different thing. And another difference is she kind of invited the darkness in. She wasn't invaded like the other people. So that's interesting, an interesting distinction. She thought that by doing that, as I recall, there was a bargain thing. Like she thought that Alan would be grateful in some way. It was unclear, but she walked into it willingly and got broken as a result. So that's essentially where we are. After that, essentially, there was this FBI guy that came after us. And as soon as he saw us, he just started shooting. And as we've been trying to escape that guy, regularly, whenever we cross path, he just shoots, even if there are civilians nearby. So that's weird. And I don't know what his deal is just yet. His name is Agent Nightingale. And even the local police are just like, are you flippin' mad? And they seem to be slowly turning against him. So as we are now, we're still kind of trying to escape that situation. And as I recall, I think Barry is under custody. He slept longer than we did. So when we escaped from Rose's trailer park home thing, they did grab Barry. So that's more or less where we are now. The darkness not too long ago went all out on the FBI people, and she appears to still be angry. Right, I say she. It's an entity. Obviously, it has no gender, but it is currently inside the physical form of a person whose name I don't actually remember. But she's important because before us, there was another writer called, I think it's something Zane. And he did the same thing for the darkness that we're doing now. Like he started working on the script. We don't know exactly how that ended up, but from newspaper clippings, I think. No. It was from Barry telling us the story. He was on the island. There was a volcano eruption for some weird reason, and the island got destroyed and he died. And a week before that, his girlfriend, whose name I forgot, and whose body the darkness is into now, she was his muse, doing sort of the same thing she's doing with us now. So essentially, we're assuming the darkness came into her body about a week before the writer died. And that's what we know. See, apparently, whatever we write in the manuscript kind of becomes real. So it seems like the darkness needs us to make something happen. We're not quite sure. It probably explained suddenly volcano from the other author, because like it's in the middle of the lake, how could there be a volcano? So I assume he committed suicide by writing a volcano, his own story, or something like that. I don't know. We'll see when it comes out. So here we are, trying to survive. And now we have a heavy duty flashlight, which appears to have much longer energy bar, and that's going to be freaking useful. Let me catch up quickly. Yeah. Oh, yes, you're right. Riley is the main character in Inside Job. Yes. Centaur World, pretty good. Absolutely. Centaur World. Like, I can't describe Centaur World, but here's the thing. Trust in it. Don't just stop because the pilot is extremely weird. It is, okay? But the show is very good despite that. And Becky Apples is just amazeballs. Not a girl. Yep, exactly. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe a lot of stuff just happened in the last hour. A lot of that was exposition from Barry at the trailer park. So if you missed from the trailer park, yeah, you would have missed a bit. But you're caught up now, so let's get this going. Also, last week I complained a lot. I was a bit negative, and I do apologize about that. I try not to be negative on stream, but some of the combat sort of annoyed me because the enemies kept just kind of appearing just behind me and attacking me while I was trying to defend myself from threats that were further away. And it just felt like cheap shots. I'm going to try to be a bit more resilient on that today. It's just like next to Control's just amazing combat start to finish, like really pleasant, well designed, well balanced. It felt like it clashed, let's just say. And as we've established when we talked about it, like there's not a lot Alan can do to spice things up. So it feels like they're making them spawn behind you just to kind of artificially crank up difficulty. But yeah. I mean, I still love the game. It was just... What do we have in terms of gun? Okay, oh wow, we have a shotgun with just 2 bullets. That's right, I remember. That was bad. We've got the flare gun. Is that the shotgun or... Yeah, it's the shotgun. Okay. Because there was also a hunting rifle we had at some point. That was pretty good. I think those are flares and those are flash grenades. Okay, we're going to keep the pistol. Technically, I don't know Becky. I know she's the worst. I assume you may not have finished... Oh no, you're quoting. Yeah. Right. Yes, I remember. Of course says that. Yeah, of course that happens.
Did you call 911?
I did not, creepy voice. Okay, let's just okay. And one of the things that I felt was problematic is that... Is that everything? Yep, music stops. Is that sometimes he dodges, sometimes he runs, and sometimes he does nothing when I press shift. That was a problem. I still haven't figured out exactly how to make him do what I need him to do. But you'll see, that's not going to be a problem in Control when we get there. Like, in Control, there's a learning curve you need to learn for certain enemies until you have the proper powers to counter them, I guess I would say. But usually when you... God damn it, I was aiming for the door, y'all. was trying to back out into the door. I thought I was still aligned with it, but apparently I was not. So yeah, some fights are a bit hard, yes, in Control, but it's always fair. It's always because there's this notion you haven't quite yet figured out. You haven't quite learned how the enemy thinks and moves and dodges and things like that. And light, you can hurt them. Really, you don't say. But all in all, usually when you die in Control, you know why you died. Like, you just didn't perform well, or... Please do not recycle. Like, it's on you when it happens. Okay. Ooh, let's get loot. Over ammo. Yes. It feels like hell's gonna break loose when we turn that on, so let's break hell loose. Oh no.
Facts of our existence for granted, unaware that they are merely a thin veneer of desperate self-delusion, covering a vast cosmos of madness and horror. All too often, the stars are right. In Night Springs. Tonight's episode, a family occasion. Journalist Alvin Derleth's trip to study the local customs of an insular community in Night Springs has been less than successful. Until tonight.
Well, I'm glad you changed your minds about this. Ancient customs, local mythology. My editor loves this kind of stuff.
Well, Mr. Derleth, we don't want to feel like we're on exhibition. But you have demonstrated the seriousness of your intent.
Oh, I am serious. Really, just do your thing. I'll stay out of your way and observe.
Actually, I thought you could assist us. I'm afraid we are a man short. It would provide you with an intimate perspective.
Could I really?
Of course, Mr. Derleth.
Well, I guess that's the least I... What would I have to do?
Oh, here. Let me show you with a kiss.
Intimate perspective, all right.
What did you...
Oh, Mr. Derleth, you have well pleased Nixie Perka, the dweller in flesh. Your body shall host his 1,000 young, and all shall be glory. Shh, darling, be calm. Shh.
Alvin Derleth learned a harsh lesson. If you go looking for mythology, it may come looking for you.
Wow.
And such quests always bear fruit.
Oh shit.
In Night Springs.
That would be amazing. Like, I really doubt Matthew, you know, well, you never know, but like, I doubt Matthew would go for it, but it could be a pretty cool homebrew or a vault thing. But then again, you know, they've been doing all kinds of They Came From. Like, officially released, you've got They Came From Murder Lake, They Came From Beneath the Sea, They Came From Beyond the Grave, They Came From Classified, They Came From the Cyclops Cave. Like, they're going into all of these kinds of genres, and I guess cartoons, including completely out of whack cartoons, might be something down the road. Who knows?
The darkness surged towards me, sucking everything loose from the ground into its depths, tugging at my clothes. I saw the flare the kidnapper had dropped and threw myself towards it just as I felt my feet leave the ground. The darkness embraced me with the force of a tornado. Somehow I managed to light the flare. The darkness roared and cast me away. I fell toward the dark waters of the lake far below.
See, that's kind of what I mean. This is the kind of stuff we're fighting against. And it feels like this is what we're fighting against. Oh, okay. Game audio turned up. All right. Let's not go too nuts. Let me know if that's enough. It's certainly louder in my ears. Okay, there's gonna be this huge fight. Oh! Oh, we're gonna die. We're gonna die a few times. Thought maybe it couldn't do the barrier thing, but it absolutely can. It also appears to be able to destroy its friends. Try to use that. Let's. This sounds like a good one for a fire. There we go. Okay, see, feels like we did good. Speech needs up, okay. Speech specifically was already high, but alright, let's give this a try. Okay. I feel like we really own that thing because there are 3 drops for ammo and we touched none of it. Really wasn't that hard though. Like, I don't feel like I particularly nailed it. There's gonna be more. I think there's gonna be more. Like, as soon as I touch the green thing, something else is gonna come up. Gotta be. Okay, I can't go back up there. It's fine. Can't be that simple. Alright, guess it was just a bunch of freebies then. And then the chapter's gonna end, and we're gonna lose all of that. We learned that Alan does not climb. He just doesn't.
I had never been this glad to see the sunrise. I had a couple of hours to get to the coal mine. The coal mine wasn't far now.
Are they going
Today,
with...
I would meet the kidnapper, and he would give me Alice. I wouldn't give him any other choice. A drowning man will clutch at a straw.
Am I supposed to understand that they're going with we drove most of the day? Like... I hope not, because if that's what they're going for, that's a very long drive. Like, it was dawn, so let's say it was like 6 a.m. If we're like about near dusk, we drove like, let's say 8 hours. Like, that's not close. Like, Quebec is huge, and if I drive like 8 hours towards Ontario, I'm switching provinces, and those are huge. Sorry about that. And the reason I'm saying all of that is because of the page we just read about the tornado, essentially. So if we're going to meet the kidnappers now, like, the darkness can't exactly summon a tornado in bright daylight, so I'm assuming night's gonna have to fall in some way or another. Yeah. But he says, like, he mentioned a few hours. So, at the very least, we're a few hours away for sure, but let's just hope it's not something... Okay. Oh, I can drive that. Why would I suddenly drive that and not the car I came in with? Oh, wow. Instantly crashes the car. Okay, cool. Cool. Just trying to... I wasn't used to the driving controls. I was just trying a couple of things, and... Alan's not a good driver. I mean, those were some physics, y'all. Like, barely scratches a tree and like, ooh. Oh no. Guess it's detour time. Another car? Oh no, this one came pre-crashed. Like, they know Alan can't drive for shit. That's right, I have an objective. I can follow that. Yep, definitely. Like, literally, was it chapter 2? Starts with him having crashed his car down a ravine or something like that? Yeah, definitely. Like, that wasn't even my fault. That was a cutscene. Alan canonically cannot drive. I'm gonna go with that. Wow. Did someone really put a chair? Oh, man. I want that chair. Like, can you imagine sitting there with that view? Like, with the trees glitching in the distance. Amazing. That may be a reference I'm not getting, though. Did I already... Oh, hello. House I skipped. I think I already made it through to the other side of the bridge. Like, how did that car get here if the bridge is trashed? I assume it happened after, but... still. Very start of the game, first cutscene, he hits a homeless person. Really? Somehow I forgot that.
This is Pat Main, and you're listening to KBF
Hey, Pat.
FM. Folks, I want to apologize for kind of abandoning you to that looping music track last night, but I was detained. You see, I encountered a big shot G-man with an itchy trigger finger who could use a lesson in manners and a boot in the ass. Not necessarily in that order either. Now, folks, I know I'm not being very informative here, and I apologize for that. I really should just keep quiet, but I'm just so peeved right now, because some people just shouldn't be carrying badges. I'm just glad that our Sheriff Breaker was there to straighten things out. And if someone I met last night is listening, let me just say, I'm sorry if my mouth got you in trouble. I'm pretty sure you're not the bad guy here. Godspeed, son. I hope you know what you're doing. Now, on a lighter note, I'll be talking to Dr. Nelson all morning. But first, a little music.
Don't worry, Mr. Main, we're fine. We're fine. Just to put context, because I forgot to mention that, but one of the civilians who got almost shot by Agent Nightingale was Pat Main. We made our way to the radio station at some point. I think it was because we were hoping to get a car, which we just did, essentially, to get to the mine. We were hoping we could borrow his car or something like that, and then while he convinced Alan to give him an interview, the police showed up. Ooh. Kind of want to agree, though. I should still continue watching American Gods, though. Now that I'm kind of semi-permanently... you know what? Let's try not to crash the car. It seems like they want us to drive this long way. Because I tried season 1, and it was just like right before we stopped our subscription. So I didn't have time to finish the season. And I had an issue with the show because I just kept not being able to make out what people were saying, especially Wotan. So, or Odin, if you will. And it was like I had trouble following the show because of that. I was hoping for subtitles, and back then, for some random reason, at least that show, at the very least, didn't actually have freaking subtitles. Since then, I have resubscribed to Prime, and subtitles have been working fine on a number of shows, so I'm hoping if I put it back on, that won't be a problem anymore. Yeah. To be fair, I listened to the book in audiobook form, so I don't know if that played a role. I don't know if you get more in the mood if you actually read the book, but I agree, I didn't get that feeling much, sadly. I mean, to be fair, I was no fan of the book. No offense to anyone who is. It's just, I don't know. The book didn't reach me despite my love of mythology.
Welcome back to KBF FM. Hope you enjoyed that tune. Now, Doc, you were talking about life and finding that special someone, that soulmate.
Well, you were talking about that. I was saying I don't buy it.
Well, see, to me, that's strange, because I always pegged you as a hopeless romantic.
You got me there, Pat. But I think love's where you look for it. And you need to do a lot of looking, sure. But the idea that there's that one special person out there for you, and if you miss that chance, it's gone forever, and you're forever incomplete. I mean, isn't that depressing? Or, heck, childish even? There's plenty of fish in the sea.
And apparently a fisherman has a fishing analogy for everything, but what you're saying, isn't that a little harsh?
Well, no. What I am saying is that your potential for finding that connection isn't limited to what's essentially a chance encounter. How is that harsh?
Yeah, well, I guess that's a nice thought, but let me say something personal here.
Okay.
Now, well, I don't disagree with you exactly, but I can't really fit that together with what I feel, what I felt for someone, because she was the one. She was. And I let her drift away from me. Maybe I didn't put in the work, I don't know, but, well, since then, and it was a long time ago, but since then, there hasn't been anyone, not like her. And I'm not saying I dwell on her or haven't moved on. I like my life. I'm not living in the past, but I do miss the way she completed me.
You can't argue with the heart, Pat.
I'm sorry, folks. I had kind of a scary experience last night, and let's just say it's shaken a few things loose.
interesting. Like, it would shake a few things loose, quite frankly. I like that they went there. To be honest, from what I hear, it isn't worth watching because they had to cancel it before giving the book ending, so to my understanding it stopped with Shadow at the ranch with the tree. Right. I thought there was another season coming in, though. I may be wrong. I haven't actually kept up that much with it. Eventually. But yeah, I mean, if, like, all of these seasons are essentially still the plot from that one book where, to be honest, very little actually happens. Yes, that'll be that for me. But we'll see. I'll probably watch it. It's just not going to be a priority, I suppose. More stairs. I mean, I liked what I saw, and honestly, they added a bunch of stuff in there. Probably because, as I said, very little actually happens in the novel, so they had to add several characters and encounters and special scenes, special effects scenes, I mean.
His boss had made Wake out to be something special, but Maud hadn't been impressed. He'd gotten a good long look at the wife, though, and he liked what he saw. Maud had fantasized about goading Wake into a fight, but it hadn't happened. Still, he'd get his chance to see if the writer had anything in him. He'd been promised as much.
I'm going to assume that's the kidnapper. I feel like I could jump there, but I just don't want to. Like, feels like a great way to get stuck in geography, unable to get back out or something like that. And I don't see any reason to. Like, there wasn't any loot I could see that would have made it worth it to try, so let's not. Yep. Okay, let's go real slow, I guess. Physics in these things is not exactly...
I was early. I was supposed to meet the kidnapper at noon in the main building. The coal mine was quiet. It was a museum now.
Yeah, real close. It's almost GTA-like in its kind of physics. Like, you try to go slowly, but you lose control at just barely anything. While there were some earlier residents in the area, the true genesis of the town of Bright Falls came with the founding of the Bright Falls Mining Company and the opening of the Bright Falls coal mine in 1878. Although the work was hard and dangerous, many immigrants, Germans, Poles, Italians, Finns, and Swedes, among others, worked the mines. Okay, so we didn't skip the whole day. We're still fairly early. We're, at the very least, before noon, so I assume something's going to happen to screw this up. While lucrative at first, the mining steadily declined in the 20th century. The seams were rich but hard to get at, and the volcanic activity in the area made the mine shafts particularly dangerous. Okay, so there is a volcano. Interesting. Maybe Zane didn't write his own ending. I mean, I'm sure he did, but not with a volcano, I mean. They add a lot of extra with Laura, and considering I despise Laura, I really don't have interest in it. You got to really earn the redemption of someone who cheats, in my opinion, and Laura was like, I'm really sorry, and things are mostly resolved. Yeah, I mean, cheating is a topic. Like, kind of depends on what understanding you have with your spouse. in the context of these two characters, clearly it wasn't something that they agreed to. Like, it wasn't an open relationship, or it wasn't polyamory, from what it looked like. So from that perspective, without spoiling anything, what she ended up doing, holy hell. Yeah, that seems like something that wouldn't just go away with the story, for sure.
With Nightingale gone and the night wind blowing in through the broken studio window, Maine stared at Sarah. The sheriff looked away. Maine's voice shook with barely controlled anger. That boy's doing more drinking than thinking. I hope you know what you're doing, Sarah. He's got a sickness in his eyes. You take my word for it. He wants Wake for a reason, and it's not for anything good.
With Nightingale gone and the night wind blowing through the broken studio window, Pat Maine, okay, stared at Sarah, the sheriff, okay. That boy, they're talking about Nightingale, okay. In 1970, a volcanic eruption below Cauldron Lake, while relatively minor, caused most of the deep mining tunnels to collapse or flood. 32 miners lost their lives in the calamity, and all mining around Bright Falls came to a final stop. Now, many of the remaining buildings are protected as historical landmarks. I like that they're revisiting the hard-to-believe part of volcanic activity. It's interesting. Like, it makes it believable that it's not just a one-and-done convenient way to kill your guy. It suddenly feels much more like, okay, it actually did happen.
I didn't want to go outside. Cops had to be looking for me.
Yeah, I hear you.
The noon sun
Fair.
turned the place into a sauna. The day dragged on. Different scenarios ran through my mind. Ways of how I'd torture the kidnapper to get Alice back. Or the different horrible things he could have done to her. I imagined her dead. I had no way of knowing she was still alive. It was killing me. I was running on blind hope. It was all a waste of time. The bastard never showed up.
Wake,
Where the hell are you?
change of plans. You know where Mirror Peak is? It's a big mountain north of where you are. You follow the path from the mine, you can't miss it. There's a lookout point there. I'll be waiting.
I'm through being jerked around
You
by
want
you.
to see your wife alive? Because if you do, you better watch what you say to me. Do we understand each other?
I want to talk to Alice.
Yeah, and I want the manuscript. Don't keep me waiting, Wake.
Hello? Hello? Ah! I'm gonna kill him.
Probably.
I had to get to Mirror Peak.
Okay.
It
Darkness
was
is
close.
back.
Maybe closer than ever before.
Okay, but that's still closed, right? Okay. I suppose I could go down there. Yep. I can. Still got my gun. That's a good thing. Flare, batteries, okay, that's clearly maxed out. Oh, okay. Looks like we're not going outside. Sounds like a good plan. Not sure I like it, but... No, we are going outside. We're literally outside. Damn it. Thomas, there we go. Thomas Zane and Barbara Yeager. That's the person that the darkness is currently inhabiting.
When Thomas Zane fell for Barbara Jagger, it happened fast. She was young, vibrant, and beautiful, full of life. He had never been a very happy man, and without any seeming effort, she had changed all that. Zane felt good for the first time in his life. Everything she did was another piece of a jigsaw puzzle he hadn't even known he'd been missing. And best of all, she made the words flow, strong and sharp. She was his muse.
Something I forgot to mention. I think it was a page or something like that, but it was referred to, it was implied, or pretty much stated out loud, that the darkness woke up because Thomas Zane arrived in town. And after that, she was reawakened when the brothers, the two weird guys we saw in the diner, they're artists in a different way. They're rockers, they're not writers, but that was also enough to stir her out of her reverie. And now, I guess, Alan did the trick. See, oh, there we go. I thought I saw something glowing. Yeah. Tell me a boss fight is coming without telling me a boss fight is coming. Yep, don't care. It's a regular show. Not wasting machine gun, shotgun bullets on that guy. There we go. Took a gamble on that one that I would be able to. Those are bullets, okay, not batteries. Took a gamble that I would have enough time before it rushed towards me again. Ooh, more flashbangs. Alright. Love those. We had a pretty cool segment last week with flashbangs that we literally ran out. Just like at the last second where it would have been really bad if we'd run out earlier. That was pretty cool. Okay, we're going up there. I see. We gotta go inside. That's going to be problematic. Just making sure we're not missing anything important. No, we are good. Okay. Like, would you climb that in real life? That seems unlikely. Okay. Come on, buddy. There we go. To be fair, though, in real life, we could have killed it with the light through these, I don't know what to call them, planks, I guess.
The only way to reach the hillside ahead was to go through the building. I had to find a way to avoid electrocution.
Oh. I hope I'll choose less of a walking sim in basic. Yeah. Agreed. Like to be perfectly blunt, I think Alan Wake slightly overstays its welcome in terms of that walking sim type situation. I mean, it's still a good game, and I had a lot of fun with it. Like, no question there. What the fuck just happened? Something blew up. We're supposed... Okay, I'll let myself die on this one, because clearly there are too many people. I was clearly supposed to drive up to them and kill them that way. But physics, y'all. Okay, there's this thing that explodes. That's what happened. It's fine. I drove back into it. That's what happened. Okay. What do you mean? Sorry, major worm taint. Because I think you said that roughly when the trees came down or something like that, so I'm not sure I'm following. Yeah, they turn off the lights. That's, you know, that's what you want to do in this game. Is that open? I don't think it does. At least now that they've introduced this mechanic, there's a bit more variety in enemy types. Like, it feels more intense when battle against these dudes are occasionally okay, I'm getting the hang of driving this. They're occasionally broken up. No, that's not what I want to say. Sorry, I'm trying to fight at the same time as I'm trying to think. Like, essentially, having to fight, like, objects, possessed objects, now and again, instead of always just these dudes. It's refreshing, and it's actually just plain fun. Because the objects to me are way more intimidating as a representation of an angry force than the dudes are. Yeah, if you're tainted enough, if a tree's tainted enough that it just falls through pure corruption, yeah, that's some hell and worm taint. However, I am rather proud that I managed to not crash the car too much. Like, it survived the entire encounter, back and forth. Footsteps. Probably should have taken the other two guys with the normal revolver instead of the shotgun, but it was already equipped. And I mean, let's be honest, I'm gonna lose that shotgun very soon, so might as well use my stuff. Steps above me. Trust no one in the dark. Yeah, no kidding. Okay. Can I? Yes. But I can't reload. Okay. Gotta wonder who the heck is leaving those messages, though. Okay, that was cool. That got me concerned for a second. Did not expect a tree to fall on me. Wasn't super well done, but I'll forgive it. It's an old game. Oh, I only got 3 left, but I got a bunch of flares, a bunch of flashes. I don't know. I guess I'll stick with the revolver for a bit. Unless they want to give me more shotgun ammo. Nope. Are they going to have Alan possessed? Could be. Great. I like that we felt it coming. Like, I don't know how it sounded for you guys, but it wasn't like there was a bit of a treaty effect in the sound. It felt like it was coming, not and passing over, not just like building power and just breaking out.
There was no way the flashbang grenades were standard power company equipment.
No shit. I like also that now that we're more in a set piece kind of location instead of just a long walking in a straight line through the forest, the monsters don't appear to just randomly spawn anymore, which was really not my favorite bit. They mostly come from spots that make sense. Alice. Okay, I see. That doesn't sound like a place I should go to. Right, right. No, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, when you think about it, the darkness inhabited the previous writer's girlfriend. Just saying. Yeah, see, they're no longer just appearing behind me randomly and that kind of thing, so I think they've, at least for the time being. Like, there was a point where, in one of the houses, I think, like, one of them spawned slightly cheap shot-ish, like, next to me, but, I mean, I could see it coming. Time for a flare. I had to trust that the other two were dead. I just had to manage that guy. So, if they hadn't been, that could have been bad. But I'm having a lot more fun with the combat now that they're not just spawning constantly and wherever. Never played, actually. I assume that's a big part of that game. I don't know. We can bury in the cell.
I stared
right.
through the bars of the jail cell. Barry stood behind me, swaying on his feet, looking as ill as I felt. Agent Nightingale stood on the other side of the bars with Sheriff Breaker. Nightingale had a stack of manuscript pages in his hand. He seemed unhinged as he gloated. Well, I've got you now, Raymond Chandler. It's all here. All the evidence, including conspiracy to murder a federal agent.
What in the actual fuck, buddy? That looks safe, right? Right. What I wouldn't do for potential shotgun ammos. Flare gun. Ah, that's just as good, really. And they're doing it again, switching my gun automatically. For no reason. How do I use it? The options, controls, key bindings. Boost flashlight. I selected the flashbang and it didn't happen. Throw. Middle mouse button. Okay. Oh, really? That didn't kill you? Running a bit low on ammo. Whoa, whoa, okay. Okay. Soldiers Rose Write a wife to get him to write his next book so you don't need to have money problems. Could be. Could be. Seems elaborate, though. How many people did we kill who were just in weird shadow costumes? Cool. Some bullets. We needed that. We're almost actually back to a full complement here. Okay, that was a checkpoint. You know what? That's a good spot, I feel, to take a oh, shotgun ammo. Right. Great. Amazing. Okay. Quick bio break since we're at the half count. So let me just run there and I will be right back. And we're back. Sorry for the extra delay. I went to get a bit of a refill for my water. Okay. There we go. This chapter is longer than I thought it would be. We're still not done. I thought we would
I had
quickly
no
finish
real
it,
plan.
and
I was going to give the kidnapper all the manuscript pages I had for Alice. If that wasn't enough, I'd hold him at gunpoint and make him talk.
I thought it would be quick to finish and that we would be spending most of the night what? Pump action instead of what? Ooh, so many more bullets. Well, that's not the right way, is it? This feels like a huge detour we don't need to take. Oh wait, no, we do. Objective is that way. Alright. That was a dodge, but okay. The plan was, but I had very little choice in the matter. It takes forever to reload the pistol. Or the thermals. We're going to the objective. I want to see story. I want to see lore. So you'll
The dark presence was moving ahead of me in the same direction I was going. A cold feeling settled itself in the pit of my stomach.
Great.
Was it going for Alice?
You'll notice it'll be very different in Control, because in Control I don't have limited bullets and enemies don't just keep respawning.
Graveyard shift may cause cancer.
So I actually... Whoa. Go. Yep, that is a damn good question. It's actually a conceit that I'm not a huge fan of in any and all of these kind of games where they're trying to create a sense of dread because, ooh, we're running out of batteries, ooh, we're running out of this, where, like, the battery life of anything just makes no sense, for example. And like some weapons have durability for weird reasons, like a crowbar. Like, let me tell you something. If I'm in a fight with 4 zombies, it's legitimately a valid question to wonder whether I will survive the fight. But there is no question about whether or not the crowbar will survive the fight. It will.
The place was dead, a ghost town. Had been for decades, maybe a century.
Ow. That was interesting, though. It took a while before she started possessing the car. Like, we could feel her will go through the place. Like, objects were pushed away, not necessarily specifically thrown at me, until she made a concerted effort to actually lift the car. That was cool. It was well made. I think I like it's in this universe. Yeah. Yeah. Laptop sure can do that. And hell yeah for Breath of the Wild. Seriously, that was one of the 2 things that made me have a hard time actually liking the game. I sadly did not. I'll still play the sequel. There were bits that I liked, but did not feel like a Zelda to me. And it's fine that a lot of people loved it. It's perfectly fine. It's a new generation liking different things, and that's great. And I'm happy that it was such a big success. It just wasn't the Zelda for me. And durability was a huge issue. 3 things, actually. The UI was terrible. Like, having to craft all of these recipes one by one, taking forever, and having to go through the animation all the time. That was terrible. And the raining mechanic that meant you suddenly can't climb anywhere. It rained way too much. Like, they should have cut that at least in half. At least. And then maybe I would have had a good time. But with those 3 elements combined...
Things were never as simple in real life as in fiction. I had lost count of the times I had wished there'd be a clear reason for my writer's block. Something to fight. Something to lash out on.
Well, now you have
There
some.
wasn't. I was filled with doubt. I was nothing like the hero in my books. Alex Casey had gone through his life with single-minded determination, never wavering from his goal. Even now, I was angry at myself, angry at Alice, angry at Barry. I was fumbling and I had no plan.
I mean, to be fair, who would have a plan in a situation like this? Cross the ghost town. Great. Great Peak Gorge, originally founded in 1928, the Great Peak Gorge mining town was one of the permanent settlements in Bright Falls mining company built for its workers. The nearby graveyard is a testament to the dangers the miners faced on a daily basis. Most of the men who lost their lives over the years here were buried there, a grim reminder to be careful for those who remained. Great Peak Gorge was abandoned almost overnight when the Bright Falls Mining Company closed its door in 1970. Actually a bit of a Silent Hill vibe on that one. Because Silent Hill was a mining town as well at first, until suddenly mining stopped. That was actually due to an underground fire. It was a bit different. But then again, you know, volcano fires, same difference. Rain is an example of devs wanting to be realistic, hurting the game. Why, in a game that you can collide with just a small thing, does rain need to affect you that much? Yep, agreed. Agreed. I mean, I don't know if that was necessarily their reasoning per se, but I don't care. It was not enjoyable. It's just plain not a good mechanic. I mean, it's a game all about exploration. Why would you limit that exploration? Mama's angry. Guess I'm taking you out first. Crap. That was a tractor in my face. Trying to use the location as defense. It worked well enough. Can't say I'm familiar with Brave Little Toaster. For the hell of it, I'm gonna say yes. This whole sequence is pretty cool, I gotta say. It doesn't affect me much now in terms of fear, but I remember it working pretty well when I played that game when it came out. I was still able to be scared by games back then. Where's the other thing? Far away? Okay. Could be. It's taking forever. I didn't want to waste a battery on it, but for some reason my regular light wasn't working, so I had to use the focus. So there really was no other choice, unfortunately.
I needed a key for the door.
Okay. It was like every other door in the game, it just opens automatically. Why is there a button prompt on this one? Okay, we're not taking the key right now, because we're gonna explore quickly first. I mean, why would you lock a door and put a key right next to it? This sounds like an apocalypse. In '87, I was 5, so maybe it just never came out in Canada. Like, for some time, the thing to understand is distribution was effed up, and there's a bunch of movies in those days that just never came out, like, for us. Like, I think the movies were called Critters, like these little balls with spikes. Like, we had Critters 1 and 2, and never 3. And 4, I think there's even a 4. Not that I particularly care about this game line, but really. I guess they just wanted to force us to fight and stand our ground, and not being able to just skip the possessed objects fight. Hello.
Anything outside of riding is a struggle. I feel ill. I managed to make my way downstairs. There's a shoebox filled with books and papers by Thomas Zane. It's very hard to focus, but I managed to read some of it. He's a poet, and a good one. He writes of muses and creators summoning fabulous things from a magic lake, using his powers to shape the world of a realm of gods and dreams and demons, dark things that wait for a chance to slip through, wearing the flesh of men as disguise. Zane writes about himself, his girlfriend being taken over by a dark presence, about growing scared of the lake. Zane believes it's a mirror to the gaping void of darkness above, where some Lovecraftian presence lurks. I crawled back upstairs. I'll borrow these things for my story. They ring true. They fit.
One of those, eh? How they... We don't... Oh. Wait, what are we switching? Is it the super amazing shotgun? Hey, my pump action. Why would I don't know why I would want to switch. So I'm not gonna. Yeah. $20 US even. My objective is up there.
The kidnapper had sent me a text. The message was full of spelling errors and insults. It was telling me to hurry up.
Really hope we're not gonna just stumble upon a bunch of hunting rifle ammo and never again any kind of shotgun ammo.
Birds.
Would fight, but they're staying far away. Yeah, I'm aware. I'm trying to be careful. There's no need for that. Yeah, I overshot my jump. We've got a bunch of flash grenades. I'm thinking
Birds.
I'm going to compensate. Whoa. Physics. Physics, y'all.
Birds.
Okay. Damn it. I'm not gonna try this time. Let's see if that helps. Okay. That was a weird segment. Didn't flow too well. Like, the physics were just completely off. But, I mean, I guess if you're seeing it as the darkness possessing the planks, I could see it. Yep, that's what you want. When there's a supernatural dark entity running around into a dark mine. Just making sure it's equipped. Tunnels go to Cauldron Lake. Ooh, hello.
Without warning, the headache stabbed at my brain.
Okay, that looks to be the right way. So I guess I'll go there, but the objective is that way. I'm tad confused. I guess it doesn't matter much. Yeah, that's clearly the right way. Okay, let's try the other thing. Don't know why it triggered the headache thing, but maybe it's a side secret content kind of thing. We'll see.
Alice?
Alice!
I'm losing it. I gotta get out of here.
Feels like maybe the darkness is stronger here. Starting to be able to get in my head or something.
The hunters were big, thick-set men, confident and at home in the woods. They were feeling good, running on beer and ghost stories and camaraderie late into the night. It did them no good, as they were taken by the dark presence, sucked deep into a darkness far worse than any ghost story they ever told or heard.
Not that, you know. Oh, hello. Oh, shit. Is that water or is that literally the darkness? Yeah, that doesn't... That's probably water because there was this yellow sign that said that this tunnel leads to Cauldron Lake. So it's probably water. But, you know, one could be the same because the bottom of a lake feels pretty dark. Seems like a good spot for the darkness to reside in. Alright, so with that cleared out, any reason for me to check down here? Nope. Alright. I really thought we would be deep in chapter 4 by now.
Even behind the closed doors and curtains of his grimy room at the Majestic, the local motel, Nightingale could feel the locals' eyes on him, the unrelenting pressure of their judgment. He forced it out of his mind. For all he knew, they could all be under Wake's spell already. You do what you have to do to get the job done. He took comfort from the bottle in his hand. Please, he thought, just let me get through this.
Yep, hunting rifle. Guess that's where we're going. Wow, really? Just like that, half cutscene ends and I get attacked. Not wanting to be insulting, but adults with that common of phobias normally have developed coping mechanisms just a little strangers with this story. What phobia are we talking about? Is he referring to being afraid of the dark? His wife has an issue with it. He doesn't. Wait, I got turned around. I mean, he did when he was a kid, but that's what the clicker was, so I guess that counts as a coping mechanism, I guess. Okay, we're on the other side of the thing that fell. Okay.
I'd have to make my way up this mine shaft in order to go on. Maybe the machinery could help me with that.
Right. Damn, okay. Like, I'm supposed to believe miners did that every day to get up there? Sure. I believe that. You are talking about the wife. Okay. It just felt out of context. Just maybe it's something that the character read and I just didn't click on it. That's perfectly fine. Well, yeah, I guess, yeah, she would have. It feels like she probably would have found some way of dealing with that. Okay. That seems to be the way out. I mean, she's a grown-ass woman. Feels like... Seems likely, is what I'm saying. But I don't want to judge. Like, for example, like, my phobia, as silly as it may sound, is sort of a fear of falling into the sky, kind of. Like, I'm simplifying it, but it is what it is. Like, I can't look at the stars. Like, it's not that I fear falling into it, but it's kind of a cross between vertigo and fear of open spaces, kind of like. And like, I never really developed any kind of coping mechanism for it, just because it's never really an issue in everyday life. Like, it just doesn't. Okay, so I can put it up. Like, it doesn't really happen so often that it's an issue. Like, I can walk at night no problem. I just don't look up. No, that's too high. There was just, for example, this moment last year when I was with a bunch of friends and the whole idea was looking at the sky, like these stars. What were they called? Perseids, I guess. What would be said in English? Like, we were there for that specifically. Like, I could not think about the open skies like everywhere. That was the whole purpose. And for me to be able to hang with my friends, I had to sit under the picnic table. Otherwise, I would not have been able to stay out there with them. Yeah, that's definitely not a good fear you want to have when you're specifically looking at stars. That's not what you want. Ooh. Well, dang it. we're full. Hope that's not the lookout, because there was somewhere else to go. Alright, nothing to be done with that, so... Cute, but I don't see... I guess... Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. And I assume in your case, since elevators are fairly frequent, and don't answer and stop me if that's not something you want to talk about, but I'm just curious considering the current conversation. Like, did you find coping mechanisms, or how do you deal with that? Do you just dodge elevators, and that's with zero judgment whatsoever? Like, I am in no position to judge anyone. I can't look at the frickin' sky, so, you know.
Lightning flashed behind the windows of Cauldron Lake Lodge. Tor Anderson laughed and held the steel hammer above his head. Nurse Sinclair was trying to calm him down without success. Tor grinned madly and shouted, "My hammer's up. Here's a friendly poke from Molnir, wench." He brought the hammer down with all his might on Sinclair's head. "We're on a comeback tour, baby."
This is one of the two rockers, by the way. Oh, focus. What are we focusing on? Okay. The mountains, I guess. Okay, escalators. Right. This may be a language thing, because I never use that term. I assume by that you mean the essentially automated stairs, the one that just move up on their own, moving stairs. Okay. Honestly, I can see it. It's like it wouldn't. I mean, okay, I'm not gonna argue on that because I don't want to trigger anything. But no, let's just say I can see it. Like, I don't feel it, but I can definitely see how that could be, for sure. With that in mind, back on topic, since that's something that is more frequent, say, than being outside at night, being forced to look at stars, did you? No, because you just said you can't, right? So I guess you didn't. But then again, it's not like, you have to. I mean, these stairs are not everywhere. Like, I could see how, like me, potentially, you wouldn't have needed to find any kind of a coping mechanism. I'm just theorizing because I don't know.
Oh, great. Another cable car.
Yeah.
Just great.
It's not something you want. Like, the darkness could rip that cable out like it was nothing. Only down. Interesting. Yeah, I can see how airports could be a bitch. Oh. Malls, I guess, probably are a tad better, I guess, because you can usually... Well, no, not really. If I'm thinking about the malls I have in my area, either it's a huge-ass detour, or you just can't, yeah. You may have some regular stairs now and again, but... Lucky that dodged the cable somehow. This ain't good. This ain't good. That ain't good. Behind me. Okay, good. Recharge. That's so cool. Damn!
Shit.
Did not expect that. That was cool. That was really cool. Like, how many games give you that kind of feeling? Like, none. It's the only one that I know of. Like, yeah, it's a walking simulator. Like, way too much of one, for sure. But, damn if those bits aren't awesome. Yeah, I'm not wasting a bullet on that. Oh, good point. I guess that implies that airports probably do too. However, some of them might be reserved specifically for that situation, which isn't your situation. So that's kind of annoying. You have to explain or just hope they let you do. I don't know. Should we switch, y'all? The game's gonna force our hand because clearly it wants us to have the hunting rifle now, so oh yeah. That's completely true. Oh man, that sucks. Full of all of that, so and we're back to full in bullets too. Great. Or near to. We're missing one bullet. That's fine. Great. That's gonna go well. There we go. Too long to reload everything, Alan. I can spare 4 bullets for you, my friend. We're good. catch up. It's only going down, and as long as I can force myself on which I used to be able to, but it seems to have worsened in the past few years, I'm fine. Like, I know what caused the phobia. Man, sizing change affects later. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm not going to push, though, because that sounds
Mott
deeply
had checked
personal,
all
but
of Stucky's
yeah.
rental cabins. There had been no sign of the wakes. It was dark when he'd found their car parked at the end of the road by Cauldron Lake. It made no sense. They must have taken a wrong turn, but there was no sign of them, and the car had been there for hours already. Frustrated, Mott stood on the rotten ruin of the footbridge that had once led to Diver's Isle before it sank beneath the waves years ago. The boss wouldn't be happy.
Okay, so Mott, if he's the kidnapper, was in on it for a while. But we knew that. He was already in on it starting from... Oh, yeah, no, I went down there. Starting from the ferry. I assumed he was working for the darkness, but apparently not. Because, you know, the darkness sent us to Diver's Isle or whatever it's called. So Mott is working for someone else. So I'm assuming he just wants the manuscript for money. Or another third-party entity we're not aware of. It's already almost 9:30, so we're definitely going to finish this chapter for sure tonight. But it doesn't appear like we'll be doing much more than that. Cynthia Weaver and Thomas Zane. Okay. So we figured out who leaves those everywhere. I miss you, Tom. Did you write this? Tom. Alright, curious to Thomas Zane. Okay, that's pretty darn cool. So Cynthia Weaver is the one leading that. Cynthia Weaver, for those who may not remember, is the girl going around town making sure all the bulbs are changed all the time. And suddenly that makes a heckin' lot of sense. She clearly is aware of this situation and has been preparing for it, or something of that nature. Oh, now you give me shotgun ammo? Damn it. Kept my shotgun if I knew that had been an option. That does not feel safe. It's funny, I was like 5 and was impatient waiting for my parents, but I put one foot on and didn't put the other on until my foot was forced on with about 3 steps in between. Couldn't change my footing because if I did, I would have fallen, so I was stuck for a good minute, completely unable to move as I was moved down. Not sure. Should have known that. Well, I mean, obviously I knew that was going to happen, but I thought I would be able to continue. be the only one left, buddy. Nope, you're not. I thought I had already reloaded. God damn it. Okay, I think I used the flare too. Really? Limit reached? But I used them. I really did. Alright. So maybe now I can cross. Yeah. I can see that. Still said with no judgment. But still, I mean, I definitely see your point, though. Like, as you say yourself, it was more embarrassing than anything else, and yet it was enough. So to your original point, I don't see the the statement, I guess I was trying to say, in the screen anymore. But you said, you know, it's funny the kind of things that happens when you're a kid and are enough. What's that?
I could see Cauldron Lake. I thought I could make out the spot where the island and the cabin had been. There was a light near it. It had to be a boat.
Interesting. Yeah, so yeah, it's interesting the things that happen to you as a kid and that are enough to create these phobias.
I was close now. I had to get there fast. I dreaded what I would find. I tried to hold on to Alice, but her form melted away. I was losing control. Dr. Hartman stood in her place. I wanted to hit him, but my arms were jelly. He smiled. It was a reassuring smile, and I hated him for it. I had to give you a sedative. Don't fight it. You went through another rough period. Right now, it's very important that you stay calm. We don't want you to have another episode. You're a patient at my clinic. Have been for a while now.
On my feet. I was pretty much stuck, I think. Maybe there's a word missing.
Wait! That you? Wait!
Hey, I'm here! I'm coming!
No! Get away! I'm sorry. Please, lady. The boss didn't know who he was messing with. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. We don't have his wife. We don't know where she is. She's probably drowned. We just said we had her to make him play ball. You see? To get him writing for us. Please. Please. Oh. I'm sorry. Please don't hurt me.
Tornado time. We know we're gonna need a flashbang because the page told us. Cutscene. Or a flare. And so we fall into the lake again. Last time we skipped a week. Alan Wake.
Previously on Alan Wake, I'm hunted by the law.
Sheriff, Wake's running. I'm giving chase.
Are you seriously telling me that writer just took out my
Yeah, I
deputies?
A
agree.
thriller I supposedly wrote is coming true. The genre of the story seems to be shifting. It's turning into a horror story. I was told that Alice had been kidnapped, but that was a lie.
We don't have his wife. We don't know where she is.
Her purported kidnapper was eaten up by the dark presence before it attacked me.
Alan, shh, baby. It was just a nightmare.
Alice.
There you go, Alan.
Hartman. I fell.
I had to give you a sedative. Don't fight it.
I just
You
read
went
that
through another
page.
rough period.
What?
Right now, it's very important that you stay calm. We don't want you to have another episode. You're a patient at my clinic. Have been for a while now. The shock of your wife's death triggered a mental illness.
No. You're,
28 minutes.
You lied.
You're suffering from various symptoms of undifferentiated schizophrenia.
Bastard.
It's okay, Alan. Just let go.
I felt groggy. Whatever Hartman had bumped in me was making me numb. I felt like this was happening to someone else. Someone I was watching on television. I couldn't think. Couldn't focus.
Yep.
The
What's
door
real?
was locked. I was a prisoner here.
All right, but we definitely should end here. We can conveniently, for once, end right after an episode. So hopefully, that means we're going to get Last Time on Alan Wake next week when we come back. So, I guess we're going to finish early tonight, which I suppose is fine. I should catch up on some of these. So I'm up to snuff tomorrow at work. It's going to be one of those weeks where I'm probably going to have to do some overtime. Like, not even in my department. My department's doing fine, but there's catching up to do in another department where they need help. So I'm probably going to have to spend a lot of time helping out instead of working on my own stuff. And in addition to that, going to have to do overtime over there too. So I suppose we could talk if we have something specific, but I kind of went through all of my subjects I wanted to discuss earlier. So, I mean, unless someone comes up with something in the next couple of seconds, sounds like it's going to be that for tonight. There's not much news to discuss. I'll try to finish episodes tomorrow. I've already talked about everything I watched / played recently. Unfortunately, that does not include a bunch of cool stuff like Spider-Man and shit, because I couldn't see it. Yeah, guess that's about it, honestly. Let's get in touch soon, though, this week or next week or something like that, to start discussing V5 a little bit. I know we did that a little bit a couple of months ago, just to lay in some groundwork. But yeah, let's try to do that soonish to see where we're standing schedules wise and who we'd want and that kind of thing, or whatever else you'd like to discuss as the storyteller, of course. But yeah, let's touch base soonish. Yeah, I don't see anything else I wanted to discuss. Oh, well, maybe. Not necessarily discuss, but I wanted to share links, because I never do that, and I should do that. Just wanted to share links here for Sufferland, for anyone's interested. That's the link. That's how you get to that. It's Steam. It's super cool, as I said. Real good puzzle game. I don't think it costs that much. There's the original. The original comes with, well, it doesn't come with it, but there is a DLC for it called The Crash. I didn't like The Crash as much as I liked Supraland. And, of course, from there you can probably find your way to 6 Inches Under, which is the sequel. Yeah, I definitely should get onto that, but it's just... Ugh. I wish it wasn't... Like, it's not complicated. It's just not optimized, I guess. You need to have, like, a Twitch account for your bots and that kind of thing. And I'm just like, why? I mean, I understand from a coding perspective, but I'm sure it could be optimized to just be, like, a feature of Twitch or that kind of thing. Or Streamlabs, but as we know, Streamlabs are evil, so yeah. Yeah, eventually I'm gonna do that. I've just, you know, haven't had the spoons to take the time to figure all that shit out and not have it be a hassle. Just have Nightbot join. Well, yes and no. From what I understood, because I looked into that, that was with Streamlabs though, but you still need to have an account just for your bot, from what I understood. I'll look into it again. Maybe there's something I missed. The other link I wanted to share, that's something I completely forgot to mention when I discussed earlier in the beginning. This is it. It's a channel on YouTube that I started listening like way too much of in the past couple of weeks, and I keep forgetting to mention it. It's called You Can Beat Video Games, and it's the kind of videos that if I had way too much time on my hands, I would love to do myself. It goes in depth the way I love in all kinds of old school game, mostly NES games, Nintendo Entertainment System. It's amazing. It's anywhere between 20 minutes to like 3 hours on a bunch of NES games, start to finish. Like, he skips a couple of bits, like for example, in Final Fantasy, he would skip some travel time, for example, whenever it's a situation like you have already seen the trip back and forth a couple of times. He's going to skip, but mostly you're seeing pretty much the whole games, and he really... It's not like a Let's Play, like, he really just goes into all kinds of details in terms of the history that went into creating the game. He says, like, a bunch of secrets that, like, even for games that I thought I knew by heart, I learned stuff. Really well made. I'm really having a blast watching all of these videos on all of these really cool games. Like Ninja Gaiden, the original Ninja Turtle, like the game that I always thought would be just impossible to do, like he's doing it like it's a snap. So he gives you all the tricks, everything you need to know to get through all of these super hard games. And that's, well, I mean, that's the concept. That's why it's called You Can Beat Video Games. It's really been fun to watch. So if you're into old school games, like these games you never could finish as a kid, and you're like, oh wow, I really want to see like the whole game for once, like past a point I could never beat, like Blaster Master, for example. There were bits that I never figured out where I was supposed to go, and you can finally do it without necessarily watching 7 hours of a Let's Play, for example, of someone playing it blind or something like that, like basically I'm doing right now. But it's a different thrill. It depends on what you're looking for. For these classic old school games, I'm not necessarily looking to watch someone blind. I want to see everything I didn't see as a kid. I want to discover all the secrets of these games. So that's more what I'm looking for that experience. So if you do too, then cool. Try the link. I'm sure you'll have a blast. I guess I'll send it to you on Discord. Sure, if you know how it works better than I do, which I'm sure you do, and it's actually simple, yeah, I'd love to discuss it on Discord. Yeah. Speaking of Discord, yes. All right. Thank you, Terraria. You don't know you just helped, but you did. I want to send again another link for anyone who wants to join the Geomid network, which is where I run my little Discord channel on Cyber's Discord. Privacy setting, market, invite people. It's a small community of like-minded folks who love Werewolf the Apocalypse. Booyah. And content creators and that kind of thing. And it's a really cool community. Join us if you'd like. There's a bunch of conversations every day about all kinds of stuff, not just Werewolf, but yeah, sure, mostly Werewolf. Even Terraria did recently a super nice thing. Every weekend he mentioned that he would be like essentially starting a discussion specifically on safety tips, safety tools, and that kind of thing. So that's going to be super fun to dig into every weekend. Looking forward to that. That was a really good idea. Really great inspiration there. So yeah, if you want to know what's up with me between, every Mondays, essentially, that's where to go. That's where you can reach me. I have 2 channels there. One where I essentially announce everything that's new, and one where I just start conversations about my content, about Werewolf and that kind of stuff. You can catch me there, and a bunch of other cool folks who all love Werewolf. So please use the link. That is the place where I announce my things, and that's also where I'll be saying whether or not there is or not a stream, that kind of stuff, every Mondays, so I don't have to push it like everywhere at the same time. So on that, it looks like we'll be just 15 minutes short, which is not too bad. That sounds pretty good. I guess I'll send it to you in Discord. I have set up before it not hard. Perfect. Cool. I look forward to discussing that and figuring things out. It would be cool to have links automated. I would like to have, for example, just frequent reminders of the Discord link for Geomint Network and that kind of thing. There's a bunch of stuff I would love to set up. I just never took the time. I didn't want to set up like new accounts just to have a bot. So if there are ways around it, that sounds cool. So I hope you had fun. I certainly did. Alan Wake has picked up. I felt like last week it was mostly battle. Well, I mean, there was a lot of story, but there was a lot of battle too. Some of them were cheap shot, but tonight felt like it was on point. It was really fun. All of these battles were more balanced, more intense. I had a blast tonight, seriously. So hopefully we'll have a blast for 3 more evenings, because there are 3 more chapters to go. After that, Control, y'all. God, I'm looking forward to Control. And I don't know what we'll play after that. If Swan Song's out, maybe we'll go back to Outer Wilds, potentially. I'd love to play the DLC too. We'll see. But for tonight, that's going to be it. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming and spending time with me. Yeah, Quantum Break, I don't know. Like, 40 minutes movies, that's like... we wouldn't have a hard time timing when we finish chapters just to make sure we don't have to finish at 11 or something like that. It's a rough one, seriously, Quantum Break, to try and time. Maybe I could do Quantum Break as a side thing, the way I originally did Control. Like, just on my free time when I want to spend a day playing a game, I could potentially boot up Quantum Break, and if folks are there, they are. If not, they're not. We'll see how that turns out. Good night, Stenel. Thanks for joining us. I hope you had fun. Talk to you soon, I guess. I probably have a game on Friday, I imagine. Hope you enjoy Alan Wake. We usually discuss the games I play, but we haven't had time to do that with this one. So I'm curious to see what you and Jack think about it. But yeah, we'll discuss all of this. For everybody else, don't worry, Void. Don't worry, Void. It's perfectly fine. I enjoy the company. I enjoy the conversations when it's there. But I mean, no one owes me their time, so perfectly. I guess we could do Bloodlines, but Bloodlines is hard to want to play again. I tried on this rig and it couldn't render shadows at all. So the tutorial was a bitch to play when you're supposed to sneak and walk in the shadows. I couldn't see them. It was real hard. So I'm assuming stealthing throughout the game would be a big issue in and of itself. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, imagine we have a game 2. If we don't, let me know. That'll give me more time to finish rendering shit. But if we do, I'll be there. I'll be glad to be there and finish to destroy the kingdom of the jackass who tried to kill my wife. Lots of people trying to kill my wife, I guess, in my games these days. If it's not Alan Wake, it's Exalted. So yeah, thank you for coming. Thanks for joining us on the Sept of Shadows by Firelight. See you all next week, and good night.